The gunman ran out of the shop and started firing wildly, hitting several people. A licensed firearm holder returned the fire, but he too was hit.
Another crime, another life, stolen. We all look away, giving thanks that this time it wasn't us. But make no mistake, with every single crime that is committed, we all pay the price.
Crime in Jamaica is eating away at our freedom and mental well-being. Our tax dollars, investments, opportunities. How much more are we willing to lose? I am Leroy Hall.
And I am Deidre Dixon. Change begins with action in this new season of CS311.
CrimeStop Jamaica and National Bakery, in association with TVJ and our sponsors, ICD Group, Grace Kennedy, Home and Things, Progressive Grocers and Guardsmen, present CS311 with Deidre Dixon and Leroy Hall.
Do you know your neighbors by face and by name? Are you alert and aware when something is out of place?
In the safest communities, people look out for each other and stand up to protect themselves and their neighbors.
This is the spirit behind this show and behind the CrimeStop community. Created in 1989, CrimeStop is a partnership between the private sector and the police force and you and me. Together, we are making a difference.
One man alone can make a difference, but together we can move mountains. All you have to do is make one call. Leave the rest to us. In our lifetime, you've given CrimeStop more than 28,000 tips, leading to well over 2,000 arrests, 345 of which were for murder. We have recovered almost $250 million worth of stolen property and paid out a combined total of nearly $40 million in rewards, discreetly and safely. No questions asked. Just tell us what you know. When you call us at 311, you're given a code number that becomes your file number. Keep your code number safe. Only use it if and when you call back to check on the results of the investigation. If your information leads to an arrest or recovery of stolen property, you can claim a reward. All rewards are paid through an anonymous and secure network. The crime solution is in our hands. What are you going to do about it?
Don't hide it, tell it. The life you save may be your own. This season on CS311, we'll show you how.
What's the latest in crime? What do the security experts have to advise us? Protect yourself from scammers. Learn the latest safety tips. This and more.
And you can help us too, giving us leads on unsolved crimes, missing persons and wanted criminals. Crime fighting is a two-way partnership.
Crime creates a ripple effect that often travels far wider than its immediate location and beyond those who are the direct victims. Jamaica is bleeding from the effects of violence and crime, and the numbers tell the tale. Did you know, in 2012, some sources estimated that over the previous 40 years, crime had cost Jamaica 67 to 90% of its gross domestic product. The direct cost in 2017 was $68 billion, or 4% of the GDP. The country now reports an average of 2,000 gunshot victims per year. And the fact that intensive care treatment for one gunshot victim may cost the state up to $400,000 per day. What a loss of valuable resources that could have been spent to build much-needed infrastructure, schools, and hospitals. Not to mention the loss of countless lives, productive hours, business productivity, investments, and social stability. Add to that resources taken through theft, extortion, trafficking, money laundering, domestic violence, and what of the attempted solutions? Skyrocketing costs for security to protect us from the crime monster. Last year, the Jamaica Observer reported that states of emergency in force during July cost us $30.6 million for operational costs of the Jamaica Constabulary Force. And that is just a fraction of the bill. Add up the figures for yourself, then decide, do you really think that these are costs that any of us can afford to pay?
We opened our show with a preview of our featured crime, which ended one life and affected the welfare of countless others. We hear more coming up next.
Tuesday, November 13, 2018, at about 1 in the afternoon, Mr. Ren Basil Malcolm was at his bike shop on Derrymore Road, now called Courtney Walsh Drive, when he was visited by a man who could have been a potential customer. For no apparent reason, the visitor pulled a gun and shot Mr. Malcolm 7 times. The gunman ran out of the shop and started firing wildly, hitting several people. A licensed firearm holder returned the fire, but he too was hit. The gunman, murderer, then ran onto Eastwood Park Road, where he held up a taxi operator and made good his escape. Mr. Ren Basil Malcolm was rushed to Andrews Memorial Hospital, where he was pronounced dead on arrival.
A senseless act that killed one man, closed a valuable business, and left not just one, but several families grieving and in shock.
I was devastated. I was devastated to hear my dad was killed the way that he was killed. You know, the fact that it took place at his business that he has had for over 40 odd years. He was a peaceful man. He was always a peaceful man, a very loving man. It's unexplainable because he was the backbone of the family. We lost our mother, you understand, back from cancer, and when he carried the family, he wasn't just a grandfather to his grandkids or a great-granddad. He was their father. He was our father. You know, it has put such a damper on the family. And to know, sir, he who has carried this family, he who has taught us so much to be, you know, hardworking people, independent people, have our own, and to know that even his great-grandson that was born the other day would never know him. And it's just an emptiness. It's just a complete emptiness in the family. He was always preaching peace and love and harmony. And he never deserved something like this to happen. I'm just asking everyone that was present at the time, to just come forward. We just need answers. The families need answers. The family needs closure, because he never deserved something like this.
In a country with a murder rate 8 times the global average, this is a familiar story. Spouses, children, parents, friends and colleagues left to pay the unbearable price. Silence is a costly decision.
CrimeStop is offering a $200,000 reward for information leading to the arrest of Ren Malcolm's killers. Your identity is safe with us. No caller ID, no star 69, 311. It's as simple as that.
Jamaica is a small island with less than 3 million people. Yet, every day more people are reported missing.
Where are they? Do you know?
Missing, brought to you by Progressive Grocers. An Ananda alert has been activated for 15-year-old Ashley Henry of Mahogany District, Lawrence Tavern, St. Andrew. She has been missing since Saturday, December 15, 2018. Ashley is of brown complexion, slim build, and 157 centimeters or 5 feet 2 inches tall. Ashley was last seen at home at 5 p.m. wearing a yellow t-shirt, blue jeans and camouflage slippers. An Ananda alert has also been activated for 14-year-old Renee Campbell of Fraser's Content, Spanish Town, St. Catherine. She has been missing since Saturday, December 15, 2018. She's of brown complexion, slim build, and about 152 centimeters or 5 feet tall. She also has a chipped tooth and a scar on the right side of her forehead. Renee was last seen at home at 10:30 a.m. She was dressed in a white blouse, blue jeans, and a pair of black slippers. 78-year-old Rupert Edwards of Commodore District, Linstead in St. Catherine has been missing since Wednesday, September 19, 2018. He's of dark complexion, slim build, and is 168 centimeters or 5 feet 6 inches tall. Mr. Edwards was last seen at home at about 1:45 p.m. wearing a light green shirt, jeans and a pair of grey and black slippers.
Nowhere is the price of crime so painful as in our health system. Millions of dollars are spent each year to rehabilitate countless victims of crime. But they are not the only ones footing the bill. Dr. Carl Wilson of the Percy Junior Hospital tells us more.
So patients who are victims of crime and have trauma due to crime, they take a lot more to care for. It's much more expensive to care for these kinds of patients. But it's a wide range. You might have someone who just has a small cut, which may not take all that much, to somebody who has several gunshot wounds and is literally bleeding to death. That kind of individual just takes up a whole host of resources. Even here at Percy Junior Hospital, we have had patients who have come with multiple gunshot wounds who we just have to try and get to the operating theatre as quickly as possible. These patients are bleeding to death. So, if you had an elective operating list, patients who have been waiting months, sometimes years for their operations, they get cancelled, they get bounced because of these patients. And we just have to dive in because our whole aim at that point is to save the person's lives. And so it's the same staff that deals with these emergencies that come back the next day to deal with regular issues in the operating theatre, for example. So just recently we had a patient, stabbed victim who came in, and we ended up finishing that operation like 2 o'clock in the morning. And then 7, 8 o'clock in the morning we had to be back to do elective operations, patients with hernias, patients with cancers who need the operation. So it really impacts on us. And over time that creates a great strain on staff. After the operation, sometimes we have to transfer these patients to an intensive care unit, and intensive care beds are so limited in Jamaica right now. We have patients who are waiting to have brain surgery. They have to be put off because that one ICU bed that they've been waiting for months is now taken up by this victim of crime, which could even be the perpetrator of the crime. And so the cost adds up, especially for these patients. And intensive care stay is very, very expensive. One week stay at intensive care could probably pay for maybe preventative care for maybe 4,000, 5,000 patients. It is that significant. It's extremely, extremely expensive. I think it's important for the public to understand that even in emergencies, it's not a matter of first come, first serve. We have to treat the sickest patient first, and that's essentially what we do when we say we're doing triage. We're trying to get to the persons who are most likely to die first. So we may have a patient waiting for an emergency operation for, say, appendicitis, but we have to put that on hold because somebody is bleeding to death. And if we do the appendix surgery first, that patient is going to die. So I think we're working on communicating that better to our public, and that's important.
How can deadly criminals walk free in full sight of law-abiding citizens? Shielded by lovers, mothers, friends, or by those who fear them? Do the right thing. Call CrimeStop. It's safe, private, it works.
Burton Bapshira, 50 years old, of Church Lincoln District, Grange Hill, Westmoreland, is wanted for questioning in connection to the murder of Fabian Cooper, who was killed at about 7 a.m. on Thursday, May 12, 2016 in the same district. Burton Bapshira is considered armed and dangerous. Brian QQ Forbes, a 50-year-old farmer of Drumilly District, Claremont, is wanted for questioning in connection to the double murder of Demar Smith and Amoya Brown, committed on Saturday, April 25, 2015 at about 4:45 p.m. in Drumilly District. Both victims died of multiple chop wounds.
In today's world, never accept people on face value or appearance. some are the opposite of what they seem.
Hello? Is there anybody home?
What is it?
Oh, hello, ma'am. I am here to read your meter.
Then somebody no come read my meter from yesterday.
Oh, well, that was the first reading. I am here to do a second reading, just to make certain that everything is okay.
Excuse me.
It's a new company policy. If you just let me in, it will only take a few minutes. Okay. Where's the meter?
Around the back.
Okay. You show me the way then. No?
What is wrong with this man? Come on.
Hey, lady.
What is it?
I come for rob you. If you scream, you're dead.
Please, me ask you, do not hurt me.
Is the one you live here?
Just me and my husband.
Mother gone?
No, him sick.
Him sick?
Yes, him sick.
Easy pluckings. Go in the house. Go in. You know me what's coming, not you? That's why you prepare such a nice piece of breakfast for me. Canned beef.
It's a little bit stale, about 3 months now.
So 3 months you have this sit down on the table in it?
No, in the fridge. I wasn't expecting anyone here for such a long time, you know.
It don't look like you put pork in the canned beef flavor.
Yes, but I preserve the beef.
You know what? Why money?
I don't know what you're talking about.
Where the money there?
I don't have any money.
Lady, where the money there?
All right. I hide a little much in my pantyhose, but it's for my husband's surgery, hip surgery.
You know your
pantyhose.
You
In
mean-
my drawer.
Oh, your drawer?
Yes. What do you think I was talking about?
I think you're in your. Now worry yourself. Hey, don't, if you ever soon. Lady. Oh, you're so lying. Oh, you think it's a little bit of money you have in there? What's your... Jesus! You make me dear. It's for the baby mother and the next baby mother. And I take everything, but you can't keep that. Right now, me love you.
Jesus, you could brush your teeth, man.
I do only for onion where you put in the canned beef.
No, please don't go. No, hold on there.
Lady, are you carry this?
No, I meant disappear.
Where the key? I joke me I make. Me not no license. When bad man talk, no dog bark. There are many instances of this precise scam happening all the time. Persons posing as workers for institution, private and public firms. Be vigilant, be smart, check IDs. If you suspect it, then you know you have to check it. Don't be scammed.
It doesn't pay to be paranoid, but in times of uncertainty, at least be crime smart. Safety tips are next.
Safety Tips, sponsored by Guardsman.
We all have to leave the security of our homes and go out, whether it be for pleasure or for work. In doing so, we need to plan what we're doing. If you're driving, the route you're going to take. When you get there, where you're going to park. If you're taking public transportation, whether it be a bus or a taxi, we prefer that you use a registered taxi where you're able to record the license plate number, make a note of it somewhere, share it with someone that you're in communication with, and the route you're taking to get to the location. When you arrive at the location, if you're parking, you want to be parking in a well-lit, central location, good proximity to where you're going. Likewise, when you arrive in the taxi, you don't want to be getting off on a back road, you want to be getting off in front where everybody else is, and it's well-lit and you can see and others can see you. Whilst you are there, if you have large sums of money on you, you want to put that away and only keep enough visible that you need for the time that you are at the location. Also, you don't want to make yourself too attractive a target by wearing a whole lot of bling jewelry that draws attention to you. Nor if you carry a fancy cell phone, you don't want to have it flashing around. When leaving the location, try and leave with others. Don't leave by yourself. Don't go into the car park by yourself. Don't go onto the side of the road to wait on the taxi by yourself. Leave with the crowd and ensure that you are with people all the time. When you get to your car, make sure that before you leave the car park, that you have 4 full tires and not a flat tire that you end up changing on the road. You also, when getting into a taxi, again, you need to make note of who it is, the license plate number, share it again. If there are those at home waiting on you, let them know that you're on your way home and what you're traveling in. Planning what you're doing, having the plan, knowing what your alternates are is very important. Your heightened awareness and a plan will keep you safe when out at night.
Your knowledge and your voice are powerful, but only if you use them. Silence saves no one.
Through CrimeStop, major crimes such as murder, rape, robbery, child abuse, trafficking, and possession of illegal guns can be solved. Call 311 safely. CrimeStop takes tips on all categories of crime.
I'm Howard Mitchell, President of the Private Sector Organization of Jamaica, and I am pleased to congratulate the CrimeStop Jamaica team for its 30 years of impeccable service to our country. The CrimeStop initiative was formed in 1989 as a response to public alarm to mounting levels of crime, and the PSOJ was instrumental in bringing private sector interests and civil society together to create CrimeStop Jamaica. Today, 3 decades later, the island's crime rate remains alarmingly high and remains of grave concern to all of us. I maintain that sustainable economic development is impossible without addressing the social ills of our country. Our potential as a nation is being hindered by this scourge of crime that has enveloped the country. Yes, it is the responsibility of the police and security forces to keep the citizens, our communities, and visitors to our island safe. However, it is critical that all of us play our part in supporting the efforts of the police by reporting criminal activity. In 30 years of existence, CrimeStop Jamaica has never been compromised. I urge you to call CrimeStop Jamaica on 311 with any information you may have on criminal activities, or visit them online at www.crimestopjamaica.com. Leave a tip online. We need your support.
1 in every 5 CrimeStop calls leads to a success, taking us one step closer to a safer community.
Who will our next caller be? Could it be you? We hope you'll join the fight. See you next week on CS311.